So I'm in a situation and I don't know what to do. So this is me asking for advice and for help. So November, I got divorced from my toxic, controlling, abusive, narcissist, fuckboy ass husband, now ex-husband. I got divorced in November.
Before we get into this, and I'm going to let it play all the way through because I want to get the full context. First, I want to give credit to the content creator. So that link will be down in the description back to their profile. But secondly, I'm always trying to figure out, and maybe it's just because she's angry at whatever is happening in this situation. I'm always trying to figure out if they were all of these things, why did you marry them in the first place? Why did you get in a relationship with them in the first place? Why was you loving on them? Why was you having sex with them? Why was you participating in life with them in the first place? Is it because you're angry or is it because this is what it really is? I know that the typical answer is usually, well, I didn't find out about that until we were almost divorced. I'm not buying it. They loved whatever this person was. They participated, they bought in, they knew who it was, they lived with him, they slept with him. So, if you're going to, and this is just for everybody that's watching for the future, if you're going to put your business on the internet, try not to slander the other person because you bothered about the situation that you find yourself in. And they could be liable, they could be the person that you describe them at whatever it is, but whatever they are, you chose them. You know what I'm saying? So miss me with the they evil, they ugly, because then that would also absolve you of any responsibility or the reason that y'all got divorced in the first place. And I'm just not going for it. But I'm about to let this whole thing play out, and we're gonna find out what she's talking about, and we're gonna go from there.
In court, no, let me rewind. Every month, I would give him half the mortgage and he would pay the mortgage. Except November. November, when we got divorced, he didn't pay it. Um, and in court, he told the judge that, yeah, we've been paying the mortgage together. I've been paying it except this month. So she said, okay, well, you have 48 hours to go ahead and pay it. He never paid it. I was awarded the home and I was to take over the home December 1. Cool. And he had all the login information. I've never logged into the mortgage website or whatever it is, the loan servicer website, because he would pay it. I would send him money on Cash App and he would pay it. So he had 48 hours to pay the mortgage for November, and then he had 24 hours to give me the login information. He didn't do either or. Weeks later, he gave me the login information, and I go so I can pay the mortgage, and I see that he hasn't been paying the mortgage for 3 months. 3 months. So the mortgage is 3 months behind. So, okay, so I call the mortgage company and I let them know what's going on. I go ahead and make the payment for December 1st because I'm taking over the loan come December 1st. I go ahead and make the regular payment December 1, but it's still 3 months behind. And they're telling me like, okay, well, we still need the 3 months worth of money, but I've been sending my money to him and he hasn't been paying it. So he stole money from me. And I don't know what to do because the judge gave me 6 months to refinance this loan or do the VA loan assumption or whatever to get him off the loan, but I can't do anything because my loan is in default because he's been stealing from me. So what do I do? I mean I have to come up with $8,000. It's really closer to $10,000. It was like, well, if I make this payment, I just made a payment today, so yeah, it's like $8,600. I got to come up with like now, which I can't, what am I supposed to do? So like I can go to court all day and sue him for that money, but still like my mortgage is still going to be due. So what do I do?
Well, I think that the first thing that you do is you got to call a mortgage company in order to either get a forbearance, right? Or maybe you do both. You do need to get a forbearance a lot of times, especially, and I know that the judge decided to give you 6 months, but you can't really relate. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. You got to call the mortgage company a lot of times to get a hardship forbearance. And once you get that hardship forbearance, what they'll do is they'll give you time to catch it up. And a lot of times, also depending on the mortgage company, they'll put it on the back end of the loan, right? It's similar to a car loan, but a mortgage loan. It sounds like, honestly, that the woman can't afford the house, but I'll get to that one later. The second thing that she got to do is she got to request an emergency hearing with the judge, right? If you request an emergency hearing with the judge and you show the judge that this is what's happening and you basically explain a story along with all of the evidence of what is happening, then more than likely the judge will issue something that basically requests the person pay it off. Now, you still can't depend on the other person. You can seek it, you can chase it down, but you can't depend on the other person. And I know a lot of people is probably going to say, well, they need to go to jail for it. This is a civil suit. This is not a criminal complaint. You can't say that the person stole money from you. That's not how this works. All right. So you're talking about big boy conversations. Number one, it sounds like, and this is just my own personal opinion, it sounds like she can't afford that house. So maybe in a divorce proceedings, it was more conducive for her to give up the house than to fight for it. And maybe or they maybe should have sold it and split the proceeds. It also sounds like their names both were on the mortgage or on the was on the mortgage, or maybe it was just him. But it sounds like it was a possibility that both of their names was on the mortgage. So she has to go through the process, and that's the reason why the judge gave her 6 months in order to switch the mortgage over to her name. If that also be the case, then that also means that his credit is being messed up because of the default, and it's a possibility that it can go into foreclosure. Ultimately, you can say, yeah, they need to catch up on the mortgage. Realistically, she does, but they also need to sell the property. And then they need to really just completely go their separate ways. Was he wrong for not paying a mortgage for 3 months? If she's telling 100% of the story, absolutely. Once they started going through the divorce proceedings, she should have already requested from the judge and from him. And this is why I think that split should be amicable a lot of times, especially when kids are not involved, because you don't want to mess up the money. Nobody mess up the money. Nobody mess up the business. Nobody mess up your credit. And then everybody can split and they can go their own separate ways. It sounded like it was a really, really bitter divorce, that they were going through something. And this is why I often say the biggest decision of your life is not only person that you may have kids with, but the person that you lay next to. It'll turn into a situation where people start to say, oh my God, I hate you. You were a narcissist. And you're going to be named everything in the book. But the reality is that they decided to lay with you. They decided to get into a relationship with you. And now, this is the culmination of a bunch of hate and anger of y'all going through a divorce. I'm sure that he was mad because of the whole financial situation. If the mortgage is not in his name, maybe it's also financial hardship on his part, which is one of the reasons why he was requesting you to pay half of the mortgage in the first place. It's a lot that goes into it, and I'm sure it's a lot more context. And, with this 2-3 minute video that she posted, I'm sure we're not getting the full context. But I'd love to, actually, this is one of those situations that I'd love to talk to her about. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I got a video dropping this weekend and a live stream on Wednesday. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Remove y'all emotions from this and make a logical comment about what you think really happened, minus all of the name calling, minus all of the anger, what you think really happened, and how she can fix this situation and not let it affect her mental health going forward, to where she now have a bitter disdain for men or any future relationships. Also, let me know what y'all think about that one detail that she said about them basically going 50-50 on the mortgage. She would cash app them the money, and I'm not sure exactly how much their mortgage is. It sounds like mortgage plus property taxes and insurance, which a lot of times they combine that all into one mortgage payment. It sounds like it was somewhere around or more than $2,000, maybe closer to $2,300-$2,400. Let me know what y'all think about her paying half of the mortgage for the time that they was in a relationship. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Can't wait to see y'all comments on this one.